back of Senate.
Thank you for joining us on the program from the National Assembly. I am Ignatius Nkwo. Well, this is the live broadcast of the Senate plenary today, Wednesday, the 18th of July, 2018. At the moment, the senators have reconvened from Wednesday's plenary, and then deliberations are ongoing. From the order paper of today, we expect that 18 bills Institute for Counter-Terrorism, and then we have some other ones and some other reports that will be considered. But as usual, we have with us here Chairman Senate Committee on Rules and Business, Senator Babaka Garbai. He's here to tell us more what to expect by the time we join the Red Chamber. Thank you for joining us again this morning.
Thank you, Ignatius. Good morning, viewers. The session for today has already begun in earnest. So it's already ongoing, and at the same time, the first segment of the order paper, that is first reading of bills, have already started. Then the second segment of the order paper, that is presentation of reports. Presentation of reports on the Committee of Education, chaired by Senator Barrow Jibrin, representing Kano North, which has about which has 8 reports on various colleges of education that is to be cited in various federal constituencies actually there. So which will actually be presented by Senator. Represented on the floor of the Senate, that is today. Then the next, that is on motion. The motion is to be moved by Senator Alasha Adura, that is the senator representing Ondo Central. So it is on the ongoing oil and gas lease renewal and massive loss of revenue. With regards to promissory note on claims made by practitioners in the downstream sector of the petroleum industry, that is petroleum marketers. Their claims, the liabilities of that sector, we've already, at the committee level, they have already taken a decision. The Senate in plenary will look at that and at the same time take a decision, so that the decision will be communicated to the executive arm of the government for further action. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time once again.
Yeah, you are most welcome.
Well, we'll now take you straight to the Red Chamber so that we'll follow the proceedings of Senate plenary for Wednesday.
Arise to second the motion as moved by distinguished Senator Boniface.
Thank you, very distinguished Senator Ndume. Dear colleagues, those support that the Senate do not receive this report, say aye. Those against say nay. Yes, have it. Senator Boniface may proceed to lay the report. State leader.
In the ongoing oil and gas lease renewal and massive loss of government revenue. Senate notes with concern that the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources has since December 2007 been inundated with a plethora of petitions and complaints, and has suo motu observed that there are multiplicity of irregularities surrounding the ongoing renewal of oil and gas leases being undertaken by the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum and the Department of Petroleum Resources. State for Petroleum Resources is granting all manner of illegal discounts and rebates in the process of the ongoing renewal of the leases. Extant law for the renewal of all leases. Senate is concerned that the irregularities being perpetrated by the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the Department renewal process is capable of denying government revenue in excess of $10 billion as a result of illegal discounts and rebates in the process of lease renewal. Senate is further concerned that the Department of Petroleum Resources has willfully and deliberately refused to provide the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources upstream with relevant information and data related to the ongoing lease renewal. Satisfied of the need to thoroughly investigate the ongoing lease renewal being undertaken by the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the Department of Petroleum Resources, given the potential alarming impact this will have on government in terms of loss of revenue accruable to the Federation, and to ascertain the reasons for the anomalies in the ongoing lease renewal process, and also to identify appropriate measures to deal with these anomalies through appropriate legislative and other supportive instruments. Accordingly, Senate accordingly resolves to mandate the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources upstream to investigate all issues relating to the ongoing lease renewal being undertaken by the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the Department of Petroleum Resources, and to report to the Senate the anomalies in the ongoing lease renewal process and identify appropriate measures to correct the said anomalies.
All right, thank you. Sabi.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Senator Aliu Sebi Abdullahi, Niger North. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to commend the mover of this motion for this very timely intervention. However, I want to state that being a motion seeking to investigate some issues, I think it will be more or less, trying to put the cart before the horse. So on this note, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is only proper that we should just take the prayers and put discretion so that when they do the investigation and bring all the facts, then it becomes much easier for us to be able to interrogate this subject matter and contribute appropriately. I so second.
Thank you for seconding the motion. Well, let's just take some few comments without delving into the main subject, and then I'll be able to go to the prayer session. Sani.
I stand as Comrade Senator Shiu. Mr. President, the motion is a narrative of the situation in the oil industry today. When issues are raised about transparency and accountability in the oil sector, there is the urgent need for this parliament to intervene. From the substance of this motion, it is very clear that the Minister of State has in every possible way been engaged in acts that contravenes the law. And I believe this is the very person who over a year ago has written an open letter raising issues about transparency and impunity in the oil sector. The issue of the lease is something that has been in the front burner of the national discourse in the last few weeks. And what this parliament can do is, for once and for all, to bring the minister to make a clarification about the actions he has taken. $10 billion is no small amount of money. And I'm of the belief that if we can get to the root of this matter, it will also open other kind of worms in the petroleum sector. This motion opens the whole process as it is vague. Are very unclear. So I believe that our intervention here should be in such a way that we must do everything possible to open up the oil industry. There have been series of motions in this Senate that has to do with the NMPC. And in every possible way, resolutions after resolutions, not much actions have been taken on it. But I think it is time for us to do what needs to be done. To summon the Minister of State, put him in the dock, and I believe other key officials of the petroleum sector, the GMD and others, should also be invited by this committee. Thank you very much.
Okay. Just Kofi. We'll take Kofi, take Dr. Bulahan, and then Rafi, and then we'll go to the prayer.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. My name remains Senator Abor Ibrahim Kulfi, representing the Assistant Senator. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, let me start by congratulating the mover of this very, very important motion. Mr. President, this motion part to the committee automatically for personal reasons. One, these leases are not being known as S2, and they don't even pay fully. Whereas they don't pay fully, they have to get the income. At the same time, Mr. President, they are always giving rebate, a reasonable rebate, and even actually there's no discount. At the same time, the same organization will get renewal. So what is doing renewal? So, Mr. President, this motion should be treated immediately. We should allow the committee to go and start and invite the minister to explain why this is happening. You cannot afford to be giving people things which they don't even pay the premium. And instead of paying, they pay rebate. Instead of those that pay again, they get discount. So, Mr. President, by the distinguished police, we cannot be seen in this chamber holding our arms on this. We cannot be seen closing our eyes, and we cannot be good. We must act immediately to recover this. I so submit, sir.
Very well, thank you, Bolan.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity. I remain Senator Bolan.
I think for the fact that Mr. President is the Minister of Petroleum Resources, maybe that is why this motion is not mentioning the Minister of Petroleum Resources. But we are aware that the Minister of State ordinarily does not have final approval of this type of leases. There's a board of NMPC There's the whole ministry, and it is out there. Though it's not yet substantiated until the committee substantiates that the chief of staff to the president is a member of the board and is literally in charge of the ministry and NTA. So I would just want the prayer to expand those to be called for investigation, probably include the board. It's in the rumor mill that the chief of staff is in charge of NNPC and the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, so that the Minister of State will not just come and say he's not the one in charge. And we know in all our law there is no space for Minister of State. Minister of State cannot do final approval. So that's just my observation, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, distinguished colleagues. And as I said, we may not have to go into the details of the issues, since we're going to have a public hearing on this. I will charge Senator Rasadura and his committee to do a very good job, because what is an issue here is transparency, and that has been a major setback in the oil and gas sector in Nigeria. So we must ensure, using our oversight, that there's transparency in the management of oil and gas resources. And I believe that we can achieve that. So we believe that we should be able to do what is possible in the circumstance to ensure that there's transparency in this present exercise. Just as Bolo had said, one of our major problems is the issue of enforcement and regulations, because we have sufficient rules, to guide us in almost all sectors. So I just want to appeal to regulatory agencies and enforcement agencies to wake up their responsibilities in order to ensure that the correct things are done in this country, irrespective of who is involved. And I'm sure that now that we are taking up this matter, that should be a good way to start, or at least to continue to ensure that we put our people on the right path of not only transparency, but enforcement of rule of law, including enforcement of existing laws, and then regulatory agencies ensuring that the correct things are being done. So wish you good luck. Now we'll go to the prayers. Mandate the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources upstream to investigate all issues related to the ongoing lease renewal being undertaken by the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the Department of Petroleum Resources, and to report to the Senate the anomalies in the ongoing lease renewal process and identify appropriate measures to correct the said anomalies. Those in support of this prayer.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is a motion requesting the Senate to consider the request of Mr. President C&C for the confirmation of the nomination of two new non-legal practitioners for appointment as members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission in accordance with Section 154, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the names are 1. Senator Abba Ali, Katsina, Northwest Zone. 2. Mohammed Sagir, Niger, North Central Zone. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the purpose of this motion on the order paper is for the request of Mr. President C&C to be referred to the relevant committee for further legislative action. I therefore move that the request of Mr. President C&C be referred to the appropriate committee for further legislative action. I so move.
All right, thank you. Well, distinguished colleagues, in the absence of any objection, the request of Mr. C&C, the President of Nigeria, is now referred to the Committee on Judiciary. Oh, sorry, can you first second the motion?
Mr. President, I second the motion that this matter be referred to the relevant committee for further legislative action.
All right, thank you. Those in support of the prayer, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. So the matter request is now sent to the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters for further legislative action and to report back within 2 weeks. Thank you. Mr. Leader.
Very distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is a motion requesting the Senate to consider the request of Mr. President C&C for the confirmation of the nomination of Mr. Banire Louis Muiz Ademi, PhD, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for appointment as Chairman of Governing Board of the Assets Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, in accordance with Section 10, subsection 1 of the Assets Management Corporation of Nigeria Act 2010. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the purpose of this motion on the order paper is for the request of Mr. President C&C to be referred to the relevant committee for further legislative action. I therefore move that the request of Mr. President C&C be referred to the appropriate committee for further legislative action.
Honorable Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that this matter be referred to the relevant
Bello Garba, member, Sokoto. 4. Brigadier General Joseph O.J. Okola, member, Enugu. 5. Mustafa Adewale Mudashiru, member, Para. 6. Barrister Festus A. E. Keamu, member, Delta. And 7. Mr. Adewale W. Adeleke, member, Ondo. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the purpose of this motion on the order paper is for the request of Mr. President CNC to be referred to the relevant committee for further legislative action. I therefore move that the request of Mr. President CNC be referred to the appropriate committee for further legislative action.
Party leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that this request of the CNC be referred to the appropriate committee.
Dear colleagues, those in support of the motion that this matter be referred to the appropriate committee, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. It's accordingly referred to the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions for further legislative action and report back in 2 weeks. Say leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I want to move that we stand down the consideration of the 5th order of the day, which is second reading of National Planning Commission Bill, Repeal and Reenactment 2018. The sponsor, Senator Ross Oko, is unavoidably absent. I will therefore move that we stand down this till another legislative day.
Party leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that this matter be stood down to another legislative day.
This is colleagues in support of the motion that this particular item be stood down to another legislative day. Say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Say leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the 6th order of the day is second reading of the Federal Teaching Hospital Abeokuta Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this.
Sorry, leader, there's another one before that from Teju Osho. Is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Maybe I start from so that I carry you along, sir. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the 6th order of the day is second reading of the Federal Teaching Hospital Abeokuta Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Thursday, the 31st day of May 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Larry Tojusho to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Senator Joshua.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I am Larry Tojusho, representing of the Central Ogun State. I move for the motion for a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences, Abeokuta, and for other matters connected therewith, 2018 SB 684. I so move. The debate of this very important bill for the establishment of the Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences, Abeokuta. The bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Thursday, the 1st of June 2018. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the bill seeks to establish the Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences, Abeokuta, and make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration. The establishment of this institution is informed by the imperative to create more access to higher medical studies in view of the large number of qualified candidates who are annually stranded in their failed attempt in gaining admission into higher institutions in the state and Nigeria. A survey conducted by the Daily Trust newspaper of July 10, 2017 edition showed that only about 3,000 out of nearly 160,000 that applied can be admitted to study medicine in all the universities in Nigeria. Adequate funding, effective monitoring, and development. At the moment, the discipline of medicine and its allied sciences is swallowed up in the general pool of the conventional universities, with the result that it does not receive the needed attention, development, and budgetary provisions. Developing an international reputation for excellence in the field of medicine and related fields requires a university that is focused and committed to teaching and research in medical sciences and health-related disciplines. The university, like its counterparts in other parts of the world, is envisioned as a multidisciplinary space for education, research, harnessing science and innovation to tackle health challenges bedeviling the nation. To meet the challenges of inadequate health professionals in the country, statistics show that the doctor-patient ratio in Nigeria falls far short of the World Health Organization recommendations. The WHO standard stipulates the ratio of 1 doctor to 600 patients. This contrasts with the current 1 doctor to about 5,000 patients in Nigeria. At the moment, Nigeria has only about 35,000 practicing medical doctors, serving a population of about 180 million people. In other words, Nigeria needs no fewer than 300,000 medical doctors to meet the WHO requirements. Based on the existing system and statistics, it will take Nigeria about 100 years to have the number of doctors she needs, and that is if none of the doctors and new graduates leave the country, and none of these practicing dies. Additionally, the quality of training, competence, and skills needed in the medical profession remains problematic in Nigeria because the professionals are being trained in scarce, inadequate, and quite often obsolete facilities. More often than not, the existing faculties of medicine are competing with other faculties for funding in the conventional universities. To curb and reverse the menace of overseas medical tourism with attendant capital flight, in the last few years, Nigerians have turned to India, South Africa, America, Israel, United Kingdom, Germany, and other countries in Europe for medical tourism. A report published in Leadership newspaper of November 21, 2015 edition showed that Nigeria loses about 3 billion naira to medical tourism annually. Nigeria alone accounts for 42.4% of the medical tourism list of Africans going to India for medical attention. According to a report published in Punch newspaper of 3rd of March 2012, India attracts more than 25,000 Nigerian medical tourists every year. In monetary terms, Nigerians spend about $260 million annually in search of medical attention in India alone. If our health sector facilities improve, we will become the medical tourism destination for Africa. Contribution to national economy. The Specialized University of Health Sciences commands potential economic benefits. With the current mantra to diversify the nation's economy from the hitherto oil-based economy, the health industry offers a great potential as a revenue earner. For instance, a recent survey showed that the healthcare industry in India earns revenue accounting for about 5.2% of gross domestic product, GDP, and employs as many as 4 million people. India's earnings from the health sector could reach $73 billion by 2020. India's pharmaceutical exports to Africa increased from $247.64 million in 2000 to to $3.5 billion in 2014. There is therefore the need for the Nigerian government to invest heavily in the health-related educational sector, drawing from the experiences of other countries like India, in order to earn revenue, produce quality manpower in the health sector, and ultimately create employment to address the yawning gap of unemployment. The anecdote of specialized universities of medical sciences in other climes clearly demonstrates that there is high hope that the Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences, Abeokuta, will revolutionize the health sector in Nigeria and bring to an end the endless search for medical attention, medical tourism in other parts of the world, with its attendant capital flights from the nation's distressed treasury. In all modesty, may I submit that the establishment of this university is therefore a giant step in the right direction. Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, in line with Order 77.3 of our standing rules, the financial compendium is hereby attached. This bill is a major milestone in the issue of legislation in Nigeria. It is in view of this and many more valid points that cannot be exhausted in this short debate that I urge you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to please support this bill and recommend its accelerated passage. In addition, I want to also note that if every senator in this hallowed chamber should put forward this bill for a University of Medical Sciences in his constituency, Nigeria will still not have enough universities to take care of our medical needs in Nigeria. I thank you all for listening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Matthew.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Matthew. Rogide, Edo South Nigeria District in Edo State. Mr. President, I rise to support this motion in its entirety. This motion is very well crafted, and the details of the statistics that the distinguished Senator Legioshu has drilled out in this motion, I think they are convincing enough that even the ordinary mind will establish the necessity for the establishment of this institution. Mr. President, as a very privileged trained pharmacist, I'm aware that particularly in our efforts at good health delivery in this country, these statistics quoted in this motion are the real facts. And I mean this bill. I want to say, Mr. President, that they say a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. If the wellness of our people is not the primary concern of any government, and if wellness too is premised on training, and training is based on the institutions that were established, then of course I don't think there's any aspect of this having these statistics for those that are trained in medicine. It's even worse for those that are even trained in pharmacy sector. This situation also accounts for the absence of significant collaboration between the military and civil-based research institutions, thereby adversely affecting the development of military-industrial complex, as well as the development of unique solutions to address our unique defense and security needs. There is therefore the need to establish the Defense Research and Development Bureau to initiate, collaborate, and coordinate all activities related to military research and development, as well as to provide the strategic direction for the actualization of the military-industrial complex, and by extension, the attainment of self-reliance in defense and security needs of the armed forces. The vision of the Bureau is to make Nigeria prosperous by establishing world-class science and technology base and provide our defense services decisive edge by equipping them with internationally competitive systems and solutions, while its mission amongst other things is to 1. Design, develop, and lead to production state-of-the-art sensors, weapon systems, platforms, and allied equipment for our defense services. 2. Provide technological solutions to the services to to optimize combat effectiveness and to promote well-being of the troops. 3, develop infrastructure and committed quality manpower and build strong indigenous technology base, thereby contributing to the nation building. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues and respected colleagues, the Bureau, when established, will dedicatedly work towards enhancing self-reliance in defense systems and undertake design and development leading to production of world-class weapon systems and equipment in accordance with the express needs and qualitative requirements laid down by the 3 services. GRDB will work in various areas of military technology, which include aeronautics, armaments, combat vehicles, electronics, instrumentation engineering systems, missiles, materials, naval systems, advanced computing, simulation, and life sciences. The Defense Research and Development Bureau will also strive to meet the cutting-edge weapons technology requirements, provide ample spin-off benefits to the society at large, especially in the fight against terrorism. In this era of global terrorism, which has been heightened and intensified in Nigeria by Boko Haram insurgents, given their condemnable wicked activities in the northeastern part of Nigeria, we need highly skilled, combat-ready, operationally prepared, and well-motivated armed forces to take up the battle efficiently against the insurgents. The Bureau, when established, will be a significant add-on to the process desirable for the effective preparation of the armed forces to win the war against insurgency. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, as a matter of priority, many other African countries of the world, particularly the advanced nations, have put in place a similar body to meet professional and military technological needs of their armed forces. For instance, the United States Defense Research Agency was established in the 40s, while India founded its own in 1949, only 2 years after its independence in 1947. Consequently, Mr. President, the establishment of the Bureau will have far-reaching impacts towards opening doors for us to enlist the support, cooperation, and collaboration of similar bodies in advanced countries and other parts of the world. Through joint activities, exchange of programs, shared experiences. Mr. President, respected colleagues, this bill, when passed, will strengthen the overall Nigerian security mechanism using the nation's defense assets. It will also ensure that the gains on investments so far made by Nigeria on security are optimally harnessed. It will further place the Nigerian military on a sound footing to attain the leading edge among military of other African countries. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in line with our Order 77 subsection 3 of the Senate Standing Rule, the financial compendium on the establishment of the Bureau is attached. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, with very high sense of humility, I solicit your support for the passage of this all-important bill. Once more, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to lead this debate. Thank you.
Senator Bruce.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Ben Murray Bruce, representing Biosafest. This is a wonderful bill. This bill is long overdue. If you look at nations of the world, and nations that have a powerful military industrial complex, most of these nations developed their military out of necessity. Israel, after the state was set up after the Second World War in 1947, I think, they felt encircled by the Arabs and they felt they needed a military industrial complex to survive as a nation. South Africa, they felt encircled and they needed to fight and protect the white minority government in South Africa. So they had to develop a military industrial complex. And because of that, a lot of people don't know, the best roads in Africa are in South Africa. When I was in South Africa, I asked them, I said, why do your roads not have potholes? And they said to me, pay attention guys, they said to me, the roads are made of concrete. I said, why concrete? He said, they are made of concrete because when they were fighting the ANC, their trucks and tanks had to go on their roads. So they built their roads to last 200 years, are made of concrete, so their tanks could be on the roads to fight in Angola, Mozambique, Botswana, and all these countries. They were trying to encircle them. In Nigeria, Biafra had a military-industrial complex. They had no money. They were fighting Nigeria at the time from 67 to 1970. They made their bombs. They made their propelled grenades. They had their tanks. They had, what's that again? Ogunike. Now, they had all of that. When the war ended, this was dismantled. I was a kid. I went to the vice president of Nigeria, Vice Admiral. I said, why did you disband the military-industrial complex of Biafra? We could have been integrated into Nigeria, and by now we could have had the nuclear bomb. And he said to me, the reason was they felt Biafra would rise again. And so, as a child, I went Biafra would rise one day. We are the cause of our problem. We had, no, you won't. We are the cause of our problem. Biafra had a military-industrial complex. Why should we import armored tanks from South Africa? The technology is simple. And sometimes when I see Nigeria disintegrate, I in my heart believe that the people who run Nigeria have no interest in ruling this country. I feel sometimes that they are foreigners, they come and visit Nigeria and they go back to their country. Because if they really cared about Nigeria, if they really cared about this country, to make a bomb, a grenade, AK-47, bullets, is a piece of cake. The technology exists. We have the raw materials in the country. The scientists exist. The money is available. And therefore, Mr. President, this bill should pass. And we must tell the executive to implement this immediately. Thank you very much.
Mr. Tume.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. I rise to also support this bill to establish the Defense Research and Development Bureau, ably brought by Senator Kiari. Mr. President, Senator Bruce has said so much, and I want to add my voice that without research, we will not be able to make any progress in this country. And in the area of defense, there is a saying that necessity is the mother of all inventions. The references made by Senator Bruce is one that is very touching and very important for us to reflect on. If we were able, as a result of the Civil War, we were able to develop so many things to fight that war for a reasonable time, it is a tragic mistake for the government of Nigeria to have allowed the scientists and the in the development of those inventions, Nigeria would have been exporting war missiles, warheads by now. But those who were able to go through those things to develop those bombs, Ojuku, bunker, all kinds of things, invest money to develop its armaments, we quit to defend this country. The insurgents
are terrorizing the country. And the only reliance the country has is to go and buy maybe Tucano aircraft and things developed by other countries, you know. So we need to invest in this type of research and development so that Nigeria can be competent and capable to defend us.
That can be able to really move the nation forward so that we can
strength of a nation depends on military strength. And that is why today America claims to be the leader of the world. And both the economy and military strength of a nation determines the foreign policy. I believe that if we develop this infrastructure, it will help Nigeria to develop its military capabilities. Today, Iran has become an issue because of its military capability. North Korea has become an issue because of its military capability. And I believe that if we support the establishment of this bureau and is given the necessary mandate and financial backing that is going to elevate Nigeria both in terms of politics and military strength. However, Mr. President, we have the defense industry, I think we got the cabinet, and we have also other military establishments. I hope that the establishment of this bureau will not be a duplication of what is already existing. In fact, it is called a bureau because it's not supposed to be a big institution. The counterpart in the US depends on contract research. They contract out research to the private sector. That's why Boeing is one of the major contractors of the military in the world. To the contracting. So I hope it's not going to be another big institution that will not be relevant. Having said this, I think I rise to support the creation of this bureau. Thank you, Mr. President.
Gabriel.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues. I stand to support this very important bill because without defense, there is nothing we can do in this country. First, I think it's good to understand that technology is the most important thing in terms of defense. If you don't have technology, the right technology, then forget about whatever you can think of when it comes to the question of armored car making, ballistic missiles, and so many other things. It is very unfortunate to observe that we still, an industry that was established to produce research, to produce defense, armored cars, ballistic missiles, ended up in producing desk chairs for all the governors, for all the commissioners in all those areas. So I think it's very unfortunate. First, what we have to do is not only establishing this one, but we have to have a focus of what we want. And we have to adhere strictly to it and make sure that, yes, what we want is done and at the right time. Because if you just establish research and development without doing anything, then at the end of the day, it will be the same thing like the other one. So I support this bill, and I think it's very, very important that we try to pump in money for this one. That is during the budget. Money should be pumped in so that we do the right thing. Then at the end of the day, we will end up producing armored cars, ballistic missiles, and so many other things for warfare.
experts here in the Senate, and I'm sure that Senator Kerry would have benefited from some of the issues they raised here. So I hope that in looking at the bill at the committee stage, we'll ensure that some of the concerns they've raised here will be addressed, especially the interrogating the state of the defense industry, and ensuring that you align it with what you are looking at now. We've had reason in Nigeria to set up industries and research institutions and also learn from our armament and indeed the general development of Nigeria. So thank you for bringing up the bill. So distinguished colleagues, those in support that this bill be read the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Sorry, we focused. Senator Clark said that. Senator said, sorry, I didn't remember you are here. So at the committee stage, I'm sure you have heard some of your experience. You also will support the bill. All right, thank you, sir. Clark said that.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Defense Research and Development Bureau and for related matters 2018, second reading.
Dear colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Defense Research and Development Bureau and for related matters 2018, second reading taken and referred to the Committee on Defense to report back within 4 weeks. Sir Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the 8th order of the day is second reading of the Federal University of Education, Kontagora, Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, the 4th of July 2018. Mr. President, we wish to invite Senator Ali Usabi Abdullahi to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Disposed President of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I move that the Senate consider.
Go ahead.
Senator Ali Usabi Abdullahi Nejanot. Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this very important bill, which seeks to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Education, Kontagora, Niger State. The bill was read the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 4th July 2018. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, we all know that education is the bedrock of every modern society. The existence of a sound and robust educational system in any country is predicated on the availability of qualified and well-trained teachers to impart the required knowledge on the students. Thus, the need to have a strong system in our educational sector that shall have continuously produced well-qualified and trained teachers as it is obtainable in other developed countries cannot be overemphasized. The need for the establishment of this specialized institution of higher learning is also predicated on the mass failure of students in WAEC and NECO examinations, which is largely due to absence of good qualified and well-trained teachers in Nigeria. Its establishment will strengthen the improvement on the standards and quality of our teachers in Nigeria. The objects of the university, among others, are A, to encourage the advancement of learning to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction. B, to develop and offer academic and professional programs leading to the award of certificates, first degree, postgraduate research, diploma, and higher degrees with emphasis on planning, development, and adaptive skills in education, educational technology, science, agriculture, commerce, arts, social sciences, humanities, management, and allied professional education disciplines. C, to produce socially matured educational men and women with capabilities not only to understand educational need of Nigeria as a nation, but also to exploit existing educational infrastructure and improve on it to develop new ones. D, to act as agents and catalysts for effective educational systems through postgraduate training, research and innovation for effective economic utilization and conservation of the country's human resources. E, to bring quality education, to bring quality change in education by focusing on teacher education through teaching and learning innovations. F, to collaborate with other national and international institutions involved in training, research and development of education with a view to promoting governance, leadership and managerial skills among educational managers. G, to identify educational needs of the society with a view to finding solutions to them within the context of our overall national development. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, the enactment of this bill will help in transforming the educational fortunes of this country. Mr. President, let me stress that the fact that the university will replace the current Federal College of Education, Kontagora, which has been an institution established since 1978 as Federal Advanced Teachers College, FATC. In 1992, a presidential task force recommended to the federal government that Federal Advanced Teachers College, Kontagora, should be renamed Federal College of Education and that heads of such institutions be transferred with new designation of provost. To this effect, the college was renamed Federal College of Education in 1992. The college became autonomous in 1989 with the establishment of National Commission for Colleges of Education. This college has contributed greatly to the manpower development of Nigeria, especially in teacher education. The college runs programs ranging from certificate, pre-NCE, NCE regular, NCE sandwich, to to degree courses. The college currently offers 53 different subject combinations under 5 schools, namely School of Arts and Social Sciences, School of Education, School of Languages, School of Sciences, and School of Vocational Education. The 5 schools run a total of 30 departments, including the sandwich program. Furthermore, the current FCE has over 5,000 students population and over 1,000 staff strength, out of which about 412 are academic staff. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the current Federal College of Education is located on a 500 hectares prime land in Kontagora, an ancient and historic city. It is well situated in the Sudan Savannah and will serve as a catchment area to our teeming students and youth from Niger, Kwara, Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and Kogi states, including the FCT. As for constituents of the senatorial district, which is the largest senatorial district in terms of landmass, at about 41,000 square kilometers, it will be a great relief as many students will have access to quality education in an environment that prides itself as home of teachers, but still struggles to attain the desired quality and quantity in education. $1.8 million candidates who registered for the admission capacity of our universities. Upgrading the Federal College of Education into the Federal University of Education is not only a wise investment decision, but one that will show our responsiveness to the needs of our citizens for qualified education, for quality education, as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and the National Policy on Education. In line with Order 73 of the Senate Standing Order 2015 as amended, which requires a compendium, I want to say that being an existing institution, upgrading this institution will require no further cost. In view of this, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill. I so move, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, distinguished colleagues. Anybody seconding the motion, Senator James Manager? Somebody seconding the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President, my respected colleagues. James Manager, Delta South. Mr. President, this is a very straightforward bill and clearly unambiguous. The lead debate has revealed all the details that we would have wanted as far as this bill is concerned. Therefore, Mr. President, I have no hesitation to support this bill. Of course, Kontagora is a known name in Nigeria. All the way from Delta, I'm aware that Kontagora is an ancient city. And it turns out because there is a Mina, which is the headquarters of the state. Otherwise, Kontagora could also have passed as headquarters of Niger State. So there are few communities in this country that are like that, which are not enjoying the status of a state capital, but then they are big cities and commercial centers. So Kontagora is one place that establishing the university in that location is not a bad idea. And also, Mr. President, my respected colleagues, I have been there. I was in Kontagora many years ago when the then Minister of Works, Brigadier General Kontagora, was turbaned. I came like that. Mr. President and respected colleagues, I support this bill. The upgrade of the Federal College of Education, Kontagora, to a full-blown university. I'm sure it will accommodate a lot of these students who are leaving the secondary schools, transiting from secondary school to university. for which the existing institutions cannot accommodate all of them. Mr. President, once the university is established, it will be a university, and therefore it's universal. It will accommodate people from Delta. It will accommodate people from Enugu State. It will accommodate people from even Japan. That is why it's called university. University means universal. Mr. President, I support this bill, and therefore it's a straightforward bill. Mr. President, to God be the glory.
Yeah. Well, after hearing the great James Manager, there's nothing more to add. So we now go to the prayers. Those support that this bill be read second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Congratulations, Senator Sabi. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Education
Well, at the moment, the Senate received one petition and passed 6 bills at first reading. The Senate has also passed, for now, 2 bills at second reading, while they're still deliberating on some other bills that are still undergoing second reading. Continuation of the scheduled program for the day. I am Ignatius Nkwo, and on behalf of the Outside Brokers crew, bye for now.
Baton